Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. This is Laura coming to you with another short video. And today's video, we're going to talk about forced to coexist. Forced to coexist with gang stalkers. Well, first, let's begin by taking a look at what it would be like to live in a world in which there were no gang stalkers. And this would be the ideal, perfect world. In this world, there wouldn't be anyone practicing deception, manipulation, or trying to control or dominate anyone. In this world, there wouldn't be a division between families and friends and co-workers and churches or any institution. In this world, people would be free to be themselves, to be accepted, and not have to feel isolated. Differences would be accepted. There wouldn't be one group antagonizing another group. There wouldn't be, any such thing as a targeted individual or a survivor or a victim. In a perfect world, people would love one another and respect one another. In a perfect world, people would practice the golden rule, which is to treat others how you want to be treated. In a perfect world, everyone could coexist together and live in harmony, and there would be peace and love, and everybody would be equal to each other. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world in which we have to coexist, in a world in which there's almost like a predator-prey relationship, not just among the animals, but amongst the human beings as well. We live in a world where gang stalking, where it does exist, and that it's growing, and that the population of people who experience gang stalking, who suffer at the hands of a gang stalker, it's growing. And whenever that happens, it creates an imbalance. It creates an imbalance in which there's exists in our world a few misguided souls that seek to do harm. And we ponder why. Why do they want to harm others? And the answer is because they've forgotten who they are and whose they are. They've forgotten how to be and how to live and walk in their truth. They seek to harm others because they've forgotten how to love, how to give love, and how to receive it. And so, unfortunately, we have to exist in a world, in which there are people who seek to harm. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like, we live in a world in which it's like a war of the worlds, in which these aliens, i.e. the gang stalkers, have been dropped onto this earth to wreak havoc, to destroy everything and everyone in which they come into contact with. We live in a world in which, we have to coexist. As a matter of fact, the wheat and the tares have to grow up together. We live in a world in which the lion does not lay down with the lamb. There's that predator-prey relationship. We live in a world in which there is not harmony. And so when you look at the word coexist, what does it mean? Well, I looked up the definition, and it says to exist in the same time and in the same place. And when it comes to nations and people, to coexist in mutual tolerance despite different ideologies or interests. And so that's what it means to coexist. Unfortunately, it didn't mention anything about harmony, but I think if we're, in mutual tolerance, that there is some sign of harmony. But when we have to coexist, and we've learned to coexist in a world that's filled with gang stalkers, narcissists, and bullies, and we try to get a grip on what's going on, we have to start by, first of all, understanding how is it that they're able to survive and grow and thrive. How is it? Well, I wrote down a few things here as far as what I feel is the reasons that they're able to survive. Well, first of all, they survive by practicing what we call, or what's known as, the gang stalking tactics, in which it involves, trickery, manipulation, dominance, deception, control, bribery, blackmail. We all know that they don't mind paying someone to follow you, to spy on you, to track you. It doesn't matter if it's a friend or a neighbor or coworker. They don't mind shelling out the bucks in order to get someone to do their dirty work. Also, as a part of their tactics, they practice division. And how is that? They love to divide and conquer. They divide and conquer by getting everyone to second guess each other, by creating disunity among communities, by getting people to distrust each other, or by getting people to look at a certain person in a certain way, or to move away from them, or basically by making others think that, gang stalking survivors or targeted individuals are, insane. That all of this is just a phenomenon, it's all just to get attention. So they divide us. Even within the targeted individual's community, they can come in and they can create division. Believe me, I'm totally aware that everyone that comes to this channel is not a targeted individual. Everyone that comes to this channel has not experienced gang stalking. You can tell by some of the comments. But anyway, we must continue and progress and move forward. Another way that they're able to survive is by taking. When we talk about this predator-prey relationship, predators are takers. They take more than they give. And they do this because by nature they're greedy and they're selfish. And so they can't help but take. They may give very little, but they expect so much. They deposit very little, but they expect a grand withdrawal. Another way that they survive, and I talked about this on my previous video, they feast off of the goodness of the hearts and the souls of good people. They can't survive unless there's a prey, and the prey is, the souls and the hearts of good people. Also, get this, they feed off of the reactions of others, especially the targeted individual's reaction. They can read us like a book. They can read our facial expressions, whether we verbalize what we're feeling or not. They feed off knowing that they've inflicted us with hurt and pain. And they know it, whether we verbalize it, whether it's our facial expressions and our emotions, physical or mental or emotional. They feed off of that, and they get fuel, and they enjoy inflicting hurt and pain and seeing your reaction and knowing, that, I gotcha. You're feeling this right now. I like that. I like seeing that I'm getting to you. I like seeing that I'm destroying your reputation, or destroying your family, or destroying you in the workplace, or destroying your community, or destroying your church. I like that. Also, they feed off of taking away our hope and giving us fear. They live in fear. And so they have to get rid of that. They have to shake that off. They have to project that onto somebody else. And because of the goodness of our hearts and our souls, we have hope, we have faith. But they take that and they replace it with fear. You know, fear that causes people to have to relocate from, dwelling place to dwelling place, city to city, state to state, or even to another country in order to get away from this antagonistic behavior. Also, and last but not least, they feed off of the lack of education and awareness about gang stalking. I once read one of your comments that stated that we should take all of the gang stalkers, the narcissists, and the bullies, pluck them out of society and take them to a private island where they can, they can interact with each other, where they can deceive and practice all of their tactics on each other. And it made me chuckle because I thought about this, if we went back in about 6 months to a year, what would we find? Well, we would find one person emerging from the shadows. And this person, get this, would come out in such disarray with a crazed look. And by the physical appearance, it would be frightening because there would be physical signs of this person gnawing on themselves, whether on their hands, their legs, parts of their body. And you know why? Because, as I said before, they have to feast on another person. It takes, they have to feast on another human being. They have to have people. But if you take them all and put them on an island, only the most controlling, dominating, manipulative, all-powerful, deceitful one would survive. Everybody else would be destroyed. But then think about this. As we approach the island and start to take a look around, and as this person emerged from the shadows, they would come out looking frightening, but they would have this smirk on their face. And so why the smirk? It's because you know what? They're so happy to see people. And so now they don't have to gnaw on themselves, because if they don't have someone else to feast on, they implode. And everything that they're taking out, outwardly, it implodes, and then they start to feast on themselves, which is not good. And so in their mind, they're saying, aha, fresh meat on the block. I don't have to deal with myself anymore. Here comes people. So I'm going to wrap the video up at this point. It's something that I said. If it resonates with you, if you enjoy the content of my YouTube channel, please take the time to hit that subscribe button. When you hit the subscribe button, make sure that you hit the bell so that you receive notifications that I'm uploading a new video, and I do that several times a week. Make sure that you comment. Leave your comments in the comment section about your take on this or any additional information that you want to add. And also, make sure that you share this video with at least 2 to 3 other people. So, stay strong, my friends. And as always, until we meet again, bye-bye, my friends.